Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
You know what's really terrifying? That unfinished college degree lurking in the background, just sitting there, waiting for you. That's where Southern New Hampshire University comes in. With flexible online degree programs, there's no commuting, no rigid schedule, and no more excuses. Plus, they have some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to learn more before your degree becomes just another story about what could have been. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Your home should show off who you are. Now is the time to boldly write the newest chapter in your home story. And your main character? It's Ashley. Ashley has styles that balance timeless appeal and modern trends to bring your personal look home. Yes, these are well-crafted and affordable pieces with eye-catching design, but they're also built to stand up to real life. With features like stain-resistant performance fabric, options that are incredibly durable, easy to clean, and stain-resistant with machine-washable covers. Plus, Ashley provides fast, reliable, white-glove delivery right to your room of choice, so you can style your space without any stress. Ashley was nice enough to send us a bunch of new pieces for my pod lab at my house, and when I tell you they deliver it to your room of choice, unfortunately they did have to deliver to the attic, but they could not have been nicer about it. I got, or was gifted, I should say, the Revion Lake sofa and love seat. It's in this like olive colored velvety fabric. It's so nice. I will say it is so freaking easy to clean because if you know me, you know that I have a white cat and a black cat and then a multicolored cat. The white cat loves to just roll all up on this furniture and leave his hair everywhere, but it's so easy to vacuum. I also got the Meili coffee table. So I have that, like I said, in my attic, but I'm ready to order another one for my living room because this coffee table is so beautiful. It has this like antique old money vibe to it. I absolutely love it. And then finally, I got three actually of the core stone end tables. They have little shelves in them so you can dress them up and, kind of like personalize them to your style. I highly, highly recommend all of the pieces that I got. And I just recommend Ashley in general. It was such an easy process to shop with them and the delivery, all of that from start to finish. It was awesome. Visit your local Ashley store or head to ashley.com to find your style. Getting paid twice a month doesn't mean money is scarce. It just feels that way. That feeling makes you do weird stuff, like putting things on a card you didn't need to. Earnin removes that feeling. With Earnin, you can access up to $150 per day of money you've already earned, plus up to $1,000 between paychecks. Standard transfers take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees, and expedited transfers start at $3.99 and cap at $5.99. 5 million people are already on it, and honestly, it's wild it didn't exist sooner. Download Earnin on the App Store or Google Play, spelled like earning money without the G. Type in Morbid under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details. Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid. Here
We're here and we're here.
And we're here. And you know what? Hear ye. If you
I have an announcement to make.
If you haven't heard yet, because you haven't listened to the last episode or follow our social media,
Or you live under a rock.
I wrote a book, guys.
She did.
I wrote a book, and it's coming out September 13th of this year, only a few months away.
Oh, I didn't know that there was an actual date established.
There's an actual date, September 13th.
Is it a Friday?
It's a Tuesday. It's still a 13, which is fun.
That's a good luck number.
Yeah, it's called The Butcher and the Wren, and it is a really cool tale set in the Louisiana, New Orleans area, and it's about a serial killer. There's a cool female medical examiner in there. It is a twisty-turny ride.
Nightmare.
It's spooky. Lots of autopsy stuff in there.
Why?
I think you guys are going to dig it. I know. I pulled it out of nowhere.
Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but I did a lot of research.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
I think you guys are going to dig it a lot. And if you would want to do me a solid and pre-order that book, it would be awesome. You can pre-order it at tinyurl.com/thebutcherandthewren. We're going to put the link in the show notes again this week. And yeah, it's going to be out September 13th. It'll be out in hardcover. We are talking about all other, like, up until September 13th, there's going to be a few fun things to happen with it. So stay tuned. And I'm probably going to keep shoving it down everyone's throats because I'm very excited. This is like 6 years in the making.
Please do so.
And everybody who has already pre-ordered it, I literally can't tell you what you have done for me this week. I have been floating on a cloud.
I was going to say, I feel like I haven't seen you this way since you found out you were pregnant with the girls.
Truly.
Actually. It's like having another baby.
It really is. It's my second. It's like the second baby before my third baby.
Yeah.
So this is the middle child, and I'm very proud of it. And I hope you love it. And you guys have been amazing. The reception has been like out of this world, and it hasn't even come out yet. So I just love you guys, and I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you and how like humbled I am constantly by how much you will like, you know, how, because a lot of people were like, I feel like you're like my friend, so I feel proud.
We
and
are
I'm like,
all friends.
Oh my God, I love that we're all friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really cool thing to have like millions of friends everywhere.
You can sit with us.
You can.
And
we
read
all
this
sit
book
together.
with us. Alaina wrote it. Here you go. Take a big whiff.
So definitely pre-order it if you feel so inclined. And I can't wait to tell you guys more and to like have more fun stuff come with it. But I just want to tell you I love you all, and I can't explain how much I appreciate you.
Yay.
Yay.
Books and love.
Books and love.
The Butcher and the Wren.
The Butcher and the Wren.
Buy
Pre-order it.
And that's not our only announcement this week. We also, because we just don't stop, can't stop, won't stop.
No way.
We've got a show coming up on Thursday. It's going to be a virtual live event because we're not ready to be in public yet. But it is going to be super duper fun. Moment House is helping us with this one again. We already did a live event with them, and it was so much fun.
It came out so cool.
It was the coolest thing ever. I'm so glad that I know what we're walking into this time because it was like a legit setup.
Yeah. We were used to just like flicking our laptop on in front of us and
being like, hey guys,
hitting start. And then that was it. This was like a whole big thing, and it was fun.
They did a whole, like, you know, when you see people there that are about to go on live and it's like 3, 2, and then they point at you and you're like, fuck, I'm live.
That's what they did.
I never thought I would experience that, but I did.
It's a lot of fun.
And now we get to experience it all over again on Thursday night. We're coming to you from a super secret location to put on the show The Dapper and the Flapper.
That's right. It's going to be a roaring 20s kind of night.
Someone's going to be a dapper. Someone's going to be a flapper. I'm sure you have no idea who it's going to be.
None.
But if you would like to find out, you can go to momenthouse.com/morbid and get your tickets, okay?
Do it.
It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited to dress in my costume.
I'm so excited for my costume. It's handmade, I think.
Ooh.
I got it off of Etsy.
Look at that.
I'm going to have to write down the person's name who made it, like their shop.
It's gorgeous.
Because, oh my gosh.
And once again, we're really hiding who's going to be the dapper and the flapper.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you guys figured it out.
So crazy.
You probably knew already.
You definitely knew.
It's going to be a lot of fun, though.
So yeah, I think that's all we have for announcements.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you want to see the virtual live show, do that.
And if you want to pre-order my book, please do that.
Where's the link to your book again?
tinyurl.com/The Butcher and the Wren.
And if you would like tickets to the virtual live event, momenthouse.com/morbid.
Do it.
Now back to the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Damn it, I
you.
slipped on it.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Oh, there you go.
Regularly is hard to say.
I tripped.
Okay, so I have been working on a case that I just got like really into this case.
You did.
I had heard of this before, but I don't really think I knew any of like the meat to it. And once you dive into it, there's just so many. It's like, this is a dirty case. Like it's
filthy.
Dirty, it's grungy, it's 70s, it's like Hollywood, but it is not Hollywood.
But it's not
glam.
like Hollywood.
It kind of is like,
it's like
Hollywood?
a little like that. Hollywood?
Like, I'm gonna steal your shoes. It's kind of like that.
Actually, it's a lot like that.
So this is the Wonderland Murders, or the 4 on the Floor case.
I am ready for this because this is actually, like, in the early days of getting into true crime, this was one of those cases that I stumbled on and was like, oh boy, okay.
It's a wild case, and it's got like a lot of, I don't want to say it has a lot of twists and turns because it's very clear like what happened here and who did it, but it weirdly also does have twists and turns in kind of a different way.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And,
I feel you.
Just so everybody knows, this is actually going to be 2 parts. So I will tell you right now, you're probably going to be pretty mad at me at the end because I'm definitely leaving you on a cliffhanger, but that's just fun for us.
And you know what? The next part is coming out in about 48 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It'll be fine. It's coming out on Monday.
Don't worry.
So we'll be good. Okay, so the man at the center of the Wonderland Murders, or if you know it as the 4 on the Floor case, is a man named John Holmes.
John Holmes.
Boy, was he something. But before he became a famous porn star, which he was, before he developed a serious addiction to freebase cocaine, which we'll get into later, and before he became associated with one of Hollywood's most notorious mass murders, he was just a poor kid from Ohio.
He was just John.
He was just John from Ohio. He was born August 8th, 1944 in Asheville, and he was born as John Curtis Estes. Now, Estes was the last name of his biological father, Carl, who he never actually really knew. He was just a baby when his mom changed his last name legally to match it to that of her on and off again husband, Edgar Holmes.
Okay.
So that's how he became John Holmes.
Oh.
Now, John actually didn't find out that his biological father was Carl Estes until he was 42 years old and applying for a passport.
Wow.
His mom had to show him his original birth certificate in order to get it, so moderately traumatizing, I'm sure. But that definitely was not the first or last instance of trauma in John Holmes's life. His life was riddled with trauma. His childhood was very much less than ideal. His mom, Mary, was devoutly religious in the kind of way that can like really mess with a person.
Yeah.
And his stepfather was totally on the other side of that. He was an alcoholic piece of literal garbage who would come home from the bar shit-faced in the middle of the day and either beat the children or vomit on top of them. John
Are you kidding me?
remembers being vomited on as a child.
Oh, God.
Like, just his stepdad stumbles in from the bar and just pukes all over the family. Like, that is horrific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're really off to a
Awesome.
great start here. Now, luckily, Mary left Edgar at some point while John was still young, and she remarried to a man named Harold Bowman. Now, Harold was like all right for a little bit, but he kind of just lost interest in being a father, and he became completely removed from John, who was his stepson, and John's younger brother David, who was actually Harold's full biological son.
Awesome.
Like, literally just couldn't be bothered with them.
Yeah, you know, usually people just like lose interest in being a parent.
Yeah, and
You know,
in their whole ass children.
It's one of those things that you're just like, I gave it a shot.
It's like, maybe just like don't bring a life into the
Yeah.
world unless you're ready.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
you know.
if you're going to lose interest, that's a problem.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. So since his life was so horrific at home, John looked into joining the army as an escape from it all. And with his mother's permission, he enlisted in the U.S. Army when he was only 15 years old.
Wow.
That will change a person.
Yeah.
He served 4 years in the army, and in 1963, he was honorably discharged. He was 19 years old. So he literally had spent like his formative years.
I was just going to say, had an entire military career.
Right. Like had a traumatic childhood and then saw so much violence, I'm sure, in the military. Like, I can't even imagine. Ugh. Morbid. But so yeah, he's 19 years old, but he knows that he needs to get his own life going because there's really just next to nothing waiting for him back home. So like a lot of young people during that time, he felt like moving out to California.
The Sherwin-Williams summer sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off their newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're looking to refresh your interior or your exterior, they've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
California would just solve all his problems and, you know, maybe he would make something of himself out there. Spoiler alert, he kind of did, but like not in the way that you would expect.
Definitely not.
When he got out to California, he had to work a lot to be able to live on his own and pay all his bills. So he had a lot of random different jobs, but the one that would lead him to find his wife was when he worked as an ambulance driver and he met her, a nurse.
Oh, that's really cute.
Which would have been the most beautiful love story if it ended here.
Yeah, that would be adorable.
Yeah. So his future wife was named Sharon, and they were super cute together. We'll post a picture of when they like first got together. They met in the winter of 1964, and they were married less than a year later in August of 65. Personally, I would describe Sharon as a ride or die literal saint for all that John Holmes would eventually put her through.
Oh, no.
She is a ride or die kind of gal. Now, the first years of their marriage, they were pretty normal. John started operating a forklift for work, and she continued on with nursing. John worked operating the forklift for a meatpacking warehouse, so he would be in the warm desert air and then would have to go into this like frigid walk-in freezer, and his body just couldn't handle the drastic changes in temperature. It started leading to health problems. He actually had his lung collapse on 3 separate occasions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was clear that he was not going to be able to continue working there much longer.
I don't know how you do. That's like a huge shock to your system.
Yeah, even if your lung doesn't collapse, obviously there's so many other things that can go wrong.
That would just make me sick.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to get like a little crazy with it.
Oh.
Because lucky for John, he had sort of a natural talent that hadn't been quite discovered yet. But it would turn out to be a very big, pun intended, change in his career. So there's a couple different stories about how John got involved in the porn industry. But the main one that I've seen reported is that he was using the bathroom. He was at a men's card playing club. And the man who was going to the bathroom next to him noticed that he had a rather large downstairs mix-up.
Downstairs mix-up.
Yeah, downstairs mix-up, if you grasp what I'm hinting at. Now, the man who noticed the mix-up worked as a photographer in the porn industry. And he told John that he would make bank with another region that looked like that.
Yeah, he's like, that's a downstairs mix-up that we could use.
Apparently, it was 12 to 13 inches of a downstairs mix-up. So
that's...
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah, that's not for me.
That's otherworldly. I don't know what to say about that.
Nope.
I really don't.
So, as the two of them finished up their urinal chat, I can only hope that they both washed their hands before the photographer handed John his business card and they both went on their way. I really hope they washed their hands.
Oy. P Brothers.
So that was it. P Brothers. John started posing for magazines, but he hadn't told his wife Sharon quite yet. Now, she found out what he was up to one day when she came home from work early, and she found him in the bathroom with a measuring tape. He told her the wonderful news about his appendage and informed her that this would be his life's work.
Oh, man.
And she was less than thrilled. And for her, honestly, that was like the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But John didn't really seem to care too much because she was still there to cook for him, still did his laundry, still had a roof over his head. Basically, the main thing that changed in their relationship is that they weren't sleeping together intimately anymore because she just couldn't bring herself to be with him, knowing that his entire workday consisted of him being with other women.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Like, and she was like, I didn't want to judge him, but I just wasn't comfortable with
But you have every right to have your own boundaries.
Right, and you're married.
That's her
like,
boundary.
That's for you to figure out in your marriage.
That would for sure be my boundary.
Yeah.
My boundary would be definitely more than that. I'd be like, you can leave.
I would yeet him out of the house
Yeah.
with like a push of a button that just like expelled him into the air.
Yeah, because
But-
there's nothing wrong with it, but you need to have
No.
a partner that is okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So John dove into his new life pretty much head first. He started working under the name Johnny Wad.
That's a lot.
Yep, it's the most. And he was making a reported $3,000 a day.
Damn.
And he was making that money in cash because on his first job, he had been fucked over and the check that he got didn't clear. So he would not work unless he got cash.
Damn.
So he's getting
Johnny Wad.
large amounts
Getting
of cash.
a wad of cash. Every
Precisely.
day.
Wads and wads.
Yeah, ew.
Ew. So it wasn't all roses and sunshine, though, because at the time, making porn was actually still considered a felony.
Yeah.
Like,
I forgot that was even a thing.
Isn't
but
that
yeah.
crazy?
When you say
Making-
it, it's like, yep.
like not only distributing it, but making
making
it in
it,
general
yeah.
was a felony. So John actually got arrested in the early 70s on set. Like the police just barged onto set.
Man.
And he got arrested for pimping and pandering. So he called Sharon. He's like begging her to bail him out. She's like, I don't have the fucking money for that because your money's with you, wad boy. So to get himself out of jail, John became an informant for the LAPD.
Damn.
So Sharon said of this time,
That's a choice.
she said, John was giving regular information, particularly on anybody that had done him dirty. So he would still work on like his whole porn set. But if he knew of other people, like for instance, probably that person whose check didn't clear when he tried to cash it.
Yeah.
He sent the police that way. And they were like, we're going to look the other way when it comes to you, as long as you keep
Feeding us the information.
precisely.
Numbers over, or it's like quantity over quality, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. So John started changing a lot, though. This was going to his head.
Yeah.
When he first started out, he was really just the kind of guy who actually didn't even drink. But before long, he was packing whiskey in the briefcase that he was known to carry around. He was very famous for carrying around a briefcase. But
What a thing to be known for.
it did not have any important papers in it, per se.
Just whiskey?
Just whiskey for
All
a
right.
little bit and then more after that.
Oh.
So it started out with that, but then he'd dabble in pot from time to time. Then he started doing some lines of coke with his buddies. And eventually he became fully addicted to freebase cocaine.
Oh, no.
Now, I actually hadn't heard of that before. Had you?
I've
Freebase
heard of
cocaine?
the term. I honestly don't know what it
Yeah.
entails. So.
Well, I'm going to tell you because
Thank
I
you.
looked it up for the both of us.
Appreciate that.
According to Healthline, regular cocaine, like in its actual form of like sniffing, in its sniffing form, like
In its
powder.
sniffing form.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it can't be heated or smoked.
Oh, okay.
Like when it's in that form.
Oh,
So
God, that makes sense.
in the 70s, people started using, is it ether? Yeah.
Yeah.
To free the base of the coke, making it
damn.
possible to smoke. So basically, you're just making like its purest form.
Holy shit.
You're breaking down the chemicals so it's just
using
pure.
ether? Holy shite.
So when more and more explosive accidents started happening
Yeah.
with the ether, which is highly
Yeah.
flammable, people started now, at that point, using what's known as crack cocaine. Now, the process used to make crack includes using baking soda to free the base. It removes the hydrochloride from cocaine, which then leads to those little rocks that people will smoke out of a pipe being formed.
Oh, okay.
But basically, from what I gathered, because I've never done this before, freebasing is doing the purest form of coke that you can possibly do unless you have a direct connection to like Pablo Escobar.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so nuts because I know literally nothing about drugs. Like I'm that person that's just like, huh?
I
What's
know
that?
like a little bit of.
I just never thought about it. And then like when you started breaking it down like that, like thank you for breaking it down like that.
Well, it was interesting.
It is. It's
You're
interesting because also like the little pieces of it, you're like,
How does that happen?
That makes sense. Like
Right.
if you have like a little bit of a basic knowledge of chemistry or like organic chemistry, like when you started saying that, I was like, oh my God, this makes sense now. Like now I
Yeah.
understand like the little rocks and I understand like freeing the bait. Like it makes so much sense.
Right. Thank Healthline because they
never
really
thought of it
broke it
that
down
way.
for us. Like I started getting it. I started like seeing the process in my head, which was also a little jarring.
It is. It's like, oh.
I was like, well, shit. Like,
And then you just realize how intense it is because you hear those names of those drugs and you're like, oh yeah, that's intense, I imagine.
Right.
Because you hear stories.
Of course.
But when you hear it broken down at like a molecular level like that, you're like, oh,
that's so much.
oh, that's real intense.
It is.
Eek.
So before long, John was not only packing whiskey in that briefcase, but cocaine, baking soda, a pipe, and a torch.
Oy.
So, as is usually the case, the more and more drugs John did, the worse he was at his job. Not only because he was late all the time and difficult to work with due to like the sudden mood changes and everything, but he would also disappear from set for long periods of time to sneak into the bathroom and use. Now, things eventually came to a point where he really couldn't work anymore because since he was so messed up on the drugs, he actually couldn't hold an erection anymore.
I was going to say, that's eventually going to be a problem.
Exactly. Now, by that time, he had become a totally different person than the man who Sharon had met and fell in love with.
Yeah.
So he's fucking over everybody at work. He's fucking over Sharon. Like,
And he's fucking himself
he's
over.
fucking himself. It's sad. Their relationship, though, the one with Sharon, it completely collapsed. But she still felt this sense that she needed to take care of him. In her words, she said, I still loved the schmuck. And he really didn't have anybody else.
Well, and it's true. It's like, it's not like you just immediately fall out of love with someone just because they're fucking their own lives up, you know? Like,
Right.
It must suck.
It's like you want them to be who you know they were.
And you're just trying to help. Like, I feel bad for her.
Yeah, it was a lot. This is a heavy case.
Yeah.
In 1974, though, Sharon, through her boss at work, became the manager of an apartment complex. And since John needed work, he became her co-manager. She took him along for the ride. So they were like living together, but they were not really
Like platonically.
Platonically, exactly. So she was like, you know what? I know you need a job. Come on, let's go.
She's a good person.
She's a really good person. She's a ride or die bitch.
She really is.
So he became the co-manager to like some degree. Really, he would work on repairs around the complex because he was pretty handy. And the gig got them a house where they could live rent-free. And John actually took a lot of pride in making the place their own.
Well, that's nice.
He was really good at renovating. He renovated pretty much the entire place. So I think Sharon also probably got to this point and she's like, you know, maybe things are going to change. Like, we've got this place. He's kind of diving himself into that.
A little glimmer of hope.
Things were only about to get much worse.
Oh, no.
Because in 1976, a 15-year-old girl named Dawn came to live at the apartment complex with her father and her younger sister.
Oh, no.
Her parents had just divorced, and before they made their way out to California, the three of them really had no plan or any idea where they were going to end up, the dad, Dawn, and the sister. So while they drove around trying to figure things out, they picked up a hitchhiker who said that they could all come and stay with him at his girlfriend's for a little bit. His girlfriend, as you guessed it, lived at the complex run by Sharon and John. So when her boyfriend and his new guests arrived, the woman who lived in the complex wanted to make sure it was okay with the managers that everybody stay in her room for a while, or in her little apartment for a while. So Sharon came down, she okayed the guests. She was like, of course, like it's two little girls and their father. I'm not worried about it. And before long, John would make the acquaintance of 15-year-old Dawn. The day he met her, he looked her up and down and muttered something about how it sucked that she was so young.
Oh, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. That's fucking disgusting.
And apparently it wasn't enough to keep him, a grown-ass man in his 30s, I believe he was 32 at the time, away from her. Dawn would come home from school to John waiting for her, ready to hand her some flowers or a stuffed animal.
That's fucked up.
Oh, it gets worse. He would show her and her sister how to do different jobs and how to build furniture and other things like he did. He was love bombing her.
Yeah.
He would literally just be there at all times. Before long, the hangouts after school led to camping trips, movie dates, beach trips. And most of the time, Dawn's younger sister would tag along with her own boyfriend, like some kind of incredibly toxic double date.
Oh my God, this is horrific.
But one night, John asked Dawn to come to the beach with him and said, don't invite your little sister, like just the two of us. Now, she was excited because she's young and she does not realize what she's getting herself into here.
Yeah, this is classic grooming.
And the two of them hopped into his van and they headed out to the beach. She was way too young to fully grasp the depth of this new relationship, and the responsibility should have fallen on the one adult in the situation.
Yep.
But he did not seem to know right from wrong, or he had just forgotten the difference at this point. And that was the night that John and Dawn slept together for the first time. And almost immediately after that, John became incredibly possessive over Dawn.
Oh, I hate this.
He would question her if she was gone longer than he thought she should have been. He would want to know exactly where she'd been and with who. He'd give her the silent treatment or worse if she had done something that pissed him off. And it was not long before his silent treatments and shitty mood, turned into him physically putting his hands on Dawn.
Wow, that's monstrous behavior.
Yup, he had become physically abusive.
He had become an actual monster.
And by this point, her father had left.
Oh my God, are
He
you
was
kidding
leaving
me?
with her sister, and Dawn didn't want to go, and he didn't make her.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where are the adults here? Like, where are the good adults? Where are the good men?
I'll tell you.
Where are the good anybody? Like, help.
I'm going to tell you where one good adult
Thank
is. So once her father left, Dawn lived actually with John's brother and his wife for a little bit, but it didn't really work out for very long. So at that point, Sharon knew what was going on with John and Dawn and still took Dawn in to live with her.
Wow.
She said she felt the need to protect Dawn and that if Dawn was living under her roof, it would be easier. Now, obviously, a lot of people have questioned her on this over the years, and she offered this as an explanation. It baffles everybody, but I hate to see injured people or dogs, and I just adopted her. I couldn't see her staying outside with just a shift on. She became a daughter to me. I needed to tell her that she had a brain. She didn't need to accept what was going on.
Ugh.
So Sharon literally took in her husband's, like, I don't want to say mistress because this is a little girl.
Yeah, this is a child.
Took in somebody that her husband is grooming and is like treating her like a daughter and trying to show her
And assaulting.
This is not what you need. Like, you got to get out of here.
Oh, man.
That's what I mean.
This is bleak as hell.
Oh, yeah. And it only gets bleaker. Unreal. But it's just so crazy to me that she was like, I want to help you so badly to get out of this relationship with the man that I actually married.
That's an amazing person.
Now, try as Sharon might to help Dawn get away from John. Dawn was young and she was in a really intense situation that was unfortunately only going to escalate.
Oh, I feel so bad for Dawn.
I do too.
That's just...
She,
Man,
I will tell
child.
you, she gets through this and she makes it her life's work to like make sure that this doesn't happen to other people.
Good
So
for her, man.
She's a bad bitch
I'm
as
glad
well.
that she got through that because that makes me really sad for her.
Yeah, and she had to go through a lot before she could get to the point in her life where
Yeah.
she could help others.
Oh, I
because
bet.
this is only the beginning of the story.
Oy.
By 1980, John's addiction had completely taken over his body and his mind. He was smoking freebase every 15 minutes or so, every single day. Doing a hit of freebase every 15 minutes.
How did his brain not explode?
I have no
out of his
idea.
head?
I have
And his
no- 'cause
heart,
that can
and his
happen.
heart not explode.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. Okay, let's have some real talk, just one-on-one for a second. I know you know this feeling. You start your period and the only pad that you have available is uncomfortable. It's like crunchy and weird. We can literally start our car from our phones, but we're still settling for crunchy, uncomfortable pads. Girl, listen, when you're looking for softness and protection, Kotex has you covered. They are changing the game with a completely redesigned lineup of pads and liners that are designed around what women actually want, like Kotex Bamboo. Kotex Bamboo has a 100% bamboo-derived viscose top layer that provides ultra soft protection, which means you don't have to worry about feeling itchy or uncomfortable. It's like the worst feeling ever. It's gentle on the skin and it's made without fragrance too. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the new and exciting launch of Kotex Bamboo, available in regular, heavy, overnight, and daily liners. Every flow covered. Now available at retailers nationwide.
Out of his chest.
You could go into cardiac arrest at any second.
Oh yeah, one regular cocaine,
One hit.
one snort of it can put you into cardiac arrest.
Exactly.
Never mind what he's doing. Holy hell.
Now, by then, and I don't know if this had something to do with how he didn't go into cardiac arrest, because he also developed an addiction to Valium to take off the edge from all the coke he was doing. So I can only assume that his heart rate was crazy when he was doing freebase.
Yeah.
And then would kind of level out from the Valium because it takes you down.
Oy.
Crazy.
I always want to believe that, like, if we just taught, like, proper anatomy and physiology in school early in life, that people might, like, think twice at least about, like, ingesting all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would make a difference, but we don't do it. And I feel like it would be necessary to do.
Yeah.
Because when you have, like, a basic understanding of anything going on inside the human body and how complex and how fragile, but also how, like, amazing and astounding your body is.
Definitely.
I feel like it should at least make you think twice about, like, doing something that fucks it up so hard.
Yeah. I think if we did that and then paired it with getting people therapy at a young age.
I was literally just going to say, and trauma therapy hand in hand.
Yes, because he went through so much trauma that I think he probably didn't care what was happening to his body.
Exactly.
Like
that's the thing.
He had been taught that it didn't matter what was happening to his body.
There's so many things that you're just like, why can't we need to make this a thing? And it's like trauma therapy and, like, you know, back then, especially men.
Oh yeah.
Any, you know, masculine people, it was not looked at as, like, you know, you could not go looking for therapy because what, aren't you a man?
Right.
And it's even, I'm sure even women, it's like, are you weak?
Right.
You know, like anybody. And it's like,
it was just not talked about back then. It's just
now become a thing where everyone's like, yeah, guys, nothing about, in fact, it is like the bravest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Is go get therapy and admit that you are having issues, like dealing with certain things.
And it just, and 10 out of 10 times, I swear, it leads back to something in your childhood that was, like, moderately or incredibly traumatic. Yeah. And you are able to work through it and, like, heal your nervous system, because people don't realize, even if you're not thinking about what actively traumatized you whenever it did, it lives in your nervous system.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It, like, riddles your body with just anxiety and stuff like that. And you don't even know why. And then you go to therapy and you're like, oh shit.
Oh,
yeah,
that's why.
That guy did that. I get it.
I see now.
You know?
And it's like, and we're just starting this whole cycle of abuse that happens. That's just, you create monsters who monster out on other people, and then they create more people. It's like, it's got to stop somewhere, man. Like, it's so crazy to me that we haven't figured it out as a human, you know, species yet.
I think that, unfortunately, people don't care enough about other people.
Yeah,
and
it's a lack of empathy, I think.
I think you have to care enough about yourself, and I think that can be really hard when you've grown up the way that somebody like John Holmes grew up.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just like, I think it's just like knowing that we even need DCF, that like we even need, like, people to intervene and save children from their own parents is like, when are we ever going to get there? Like, the human species has a lot of fucking work to do. The fact that we have to actively have systems in place to save children from their own fucking parents
who brought them into this world.
Wild. And then it's like, and then we just, those kids who have been traumatized and changed for their entire life
just get yeeted out into the world.
Thrown out into the world, and then they do horrible shit, and then they get thrown back out into nowhere with no help. And it's like, when do we learn?
Right.
I hope we start to learn. It feels like we're at least opening our eyes a little bit to it.
Yeah,
but
I definitely
it's a slow
think
process.
Luckily, mental health is more of a topic of conversation, at least. So I think we're on a good road.
Yeah, it just needs to be talked about. That's all.
Because, I mean, this story is a very telling story of what can happen when you
like
go down the wrong
abuse
path.
and systems and cycles of abuse and oy.
So John is like fully addicted at this point. He's essentially living out of Sharon's car at this point because she was like, get away from me. Like,
Yeah,
I
she
can't
just
do
wants
this.
to help Dawn.
And he was stealing anything he could to sell and then buy more drugs. We're talking about a man who was once making $3,000 a day at one point in time, now going to airports to steal luggage off of conveyor belts to pay for drugs.
The rise and fall here is
And
legendary.
the darkness that we are going to get into, because right now, when he couldn't rake in money stealing, he would send Dawn out to do sex work. And she didn't want to, but she was young. This man had groomed her and she had nowhere else to go.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
He forced her into
That's
sex
horrific.
work so that she could basically pay for his drugs.
Oh my God.
Unreal. And then there were times where he felt like she didn't come home with enough money, so he would beat her.
Oh my God.
Things were beyond bleak.
Oh, poor Dawn.
Poor Dawn.
Like, my whole heart aches for Dawn here.
I know. It's so, reading through this story, it's just like it's traumatic even reading through it.
Because what an actual piece of shit he was.
Oh,
like,
150%.
Damn.
So right around this time, John became more connected to and started hanging out with a group of people called the Wonderland Gang. Now, sure, that sounds magical as fuck. And
Yeah,
if you
Cheshire
don't,
Cats, you know?
yeah, if you don't know this story, maybe you're like, oh, cool, maybe they're going to get him some help, those Wonderland people.
Maybe they're going to have a tea party.
They're not.
No.
The Wonderland Gang was made up of a group of people you would not want to fuck with. You would see these people walking down a street and you would go the other way.
Oh, man.
They were called the Wonderland Gang because they lived at 8763 Wonderland Avenue in Laurel Canyon.
Oh.
Now, Laurel Canyon...
What a lame reason.
I know, right?
That sucks.
I know, it really does. It's literally just the name of the
Yeah.
street. Now, Laurel Canyon was a pretty exclusive place to live at one point in time. I'm pretty sure it still is. And over the years, a lot of famous rock stars and movie stars have lived in the area. 8763 Wonderland Avenue was actually once home to a pretty famous set of musicians, Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Oh.
Lived in the home.
Wow.
But these days it was looking a little different.
You don't say.
During the time that the Wonderland Gang lived on the street, the house was a well-known spot in the area because they were not a famous band. They were not famous movie stars. They were among the top distributors of cocaine during the 70s.
Yeah, there you go.
Some would argue that they were the most successful in their business at the time.
I mean, Alice in Wonderland was trippy.
It was about drugs. So the house was 3 levels. There was a garage on the ground floor and 2 floors above that. Inside, there was 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And outside, there was a gate that had a deadbolt lock, a phone at the entrance, which meant that you would have to okay somebody to come up. And just for extra precautions, there were 2 pit bulls that usually hung out around the front steps.
Oh.
Which I'm like, I love pit bulls.
Oh my goodness.
Kids are a little head.
Oh, I just want to smush him. Can I just interject really quick?
Of course.
And I'll just do it really quick.
Absolutely.
I cried about Bailey the other night out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure people listening have had this same. I just want to tell you, like, I feel you. If you lost a pet and you randomly just cried about it, don't feel bad.
Oh my God.
I was sitting watching TV with John the other night, and there was a dog on TV, somebody's pet, and I literally started crying. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I feel emotions right now.
I know, and for you to feel emotions.
And it was
it's a
like, I
lot.
miss Bailey. And I've had friends who, like, I've had a couple of friends who also had to lost their dogs recently. And they actually texted us recently and was like, I just wanted to ask, like, does it get better? Like, do you know if it gets, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, but it gets like a little easier to deal with, but you're going to cry about it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, she's a part of our family.
Yeah.
She is a part of our family, but was for like 12 years.
If you guys lost pets, and like many of you said it when like I posted about Bailey, like, you were amazing. I just want to tell you, like, I feel you.
Oh my God.
We are one. Solidarity.
I can't even imagine, because luckily cats live for like 45
million years. I love that.
But I was gone for 2 days. I had to go to Chicago, and thank you for taking care of the cats. Alaina took care of them. But when I came home, they were like meowing. They were like going through our legs. I was like, oh my God, I love you. And I'm so sorry I had to leave you.
It's true.
Oh, pets are just the best.
I just had to say that because I know people have lost pets, and some of our listeners have recently also lost pets and had told me they were feeling it. So solidarity.
You're all in this together.
I'm with you. Just know that.
Oh,
Feel free to DM me with your like, I'm sad about my pet.
that makes me so sad. There's no good transition back.
Yeah, there
into
isn't. We
this.
were just talking about pit bulls, so I was like, I gotta say
No,
this.
I'm happy that you did. I'm just going to tell you about a Rolling Stone article.
Please
that I read.
do. Let's go.
So, according to a 1989 Rolling Stones piece written by Mike Sager, I believe is how you say that last name. I'm going to link it in the show notes because it was such a good read.
Love it.
The house cost $750 to rent back then, is what he said. And the lease was in a woman named Joy Miller's name.
Okay.
Now, at one point in time, Joy Miller was living a completely different life. She was actually married to a Beverly Hills attorney. She was a mother to 2 daughters.
Wow.
But somehow, and from what I read, seemed to be related to a lot of health issues. She actually had breast cancer. But she did eventually become addicted to heroin,
Oh, no.
which is sad.
Really sad.
Now, her addiction was how she somehow became connected to a man named William Billy Deverell, who would later become her boyfriend. Now, while Joy had been arrested 7 times in the past, Billy had her beat with 13 arrests under his belt. He was considered the second in charge of this gang. The first in charge, the known leader of the Wonderland Gang, was a guy named Ron Lanius. He was one scary mofo who, by the summer he was killed, was suspected to be involved in at least 24 other homicides.
Oh,
Yes.
my goodness.
Now, back in the day, Ron actually served in the Vietnam War, but was dishonorably discharged for smuggling drugs, specifically heroin, back to the U.S.
Okay.
Now, the way that he did that was somehow sneaking the heroin into the body bags that would carry his fellow soldiers back to America.
Wow.
Unsure exactly who he set that deal up with, but I do know that it happened.
So the boundaries are non-existent with this fellow?
No.
Cool.
Oh, just wait. Now, the fact that that was really the beginning of his law-breaking pretty much tells you everything you need to know. In 1974, he was actually charged with murdering a police informant, but he got away with it because the key witness involved in the case was actually killed in a shootout with the cops.
Ooh.
But if he had been convicted, he most likely would have gotten a life sentence.
Damn.
But he would not avoid jail time forever, because only a matter of months went by before the cops were hot on Ron's case again. This time he was smuggling heroin and cocaine to Mexico.
Okay.
He ended up serving 3 years in federal prison for that, which I was like, only 3? Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot, but okay.
But that's where he met another member of the Wonderland Gang, David Lind. Now, they were both sentenced to serve their time at McNeil Island in Washington State, which is actually where Charles Manson was housed in his earlier years.
Ah, look at that.
Weirdly enough, this case has a couple of like links to Manson. And
because I feel like it's like the time period, the place, the vibe, it's
the
just
violentness of it all.
Very like interconnected.
Exactly. But so yes, David Lind and Ron met at McNeil Island while they were both in prison. Now, David Lind had been in and out of prison on charges of things like burglary and assault with intent to commit rape.
Cool.
There are rumors that while he was in prison, he became part of the Aryan Brotherhood, that white supremacist group.
Ugh.
Yeah. So David and his girlfriend, Barbara Butterfly Richardson, they were staying at the Wonderland house around the time that John started hanging around. And then the final person who lived in the house was Ron's wife, Susan. She did use drugs, but she really wasn't a part of any of the gang's activities.
She was just there.
She was just with Ron,
Yeah.
you know? And the reason I think she probably didn't want to have anything to do with these gang activities probably had something to do with the fact that she was once kidnapped by some gang members in Mexico who Ron had pissed off.
Oh.
Was literally kidnapped by like drug lords.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
why I think she separated herself a little bit.
And
from
lived
it.
to tell the tale? That's what's most shocking about that.
She lived to tell a few tales.
Oh, boy.
So John became...
This is stressful.
It's super
This is
stressful.
like a very stressful... You keep saying like, oh, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And I'm going to say it one more.
I don't
It's
wanna.
only going to get worse.
Okay.
This is a stressful case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So John became somewhat part of the gang. He wasn't really like a part of it, but he was there with them.
Kind of like an outskirt.
Yeah, he was like a hanger-oner.
Yeah.
He was a mooch.
A mooch.
No one really liked him that much, and he was really just more of a nuisance than anything else. Ron, in particular, took a disliking to John. He would make fun of him. He'd belittle him. He'd just smack him in the head and push him around. He fucking hated him.
You know.
So the gang mostly used John for deliveries, and they tried not to give him too much responsibility because they kind of just thought he was a big joke. And they were like, we don't really trust you.
Wow.
But, yeah,
You know.
it's a setup, you know?
Yeah, you know.
So most of the time when John was with the Wonderland crew, it was so that he could get drugs for himself and Dawn.
That's what I figured.
He'd have Dawn wait in the car, and she recalled later that sometimes John would be in the house for hours, and she'd just have to sit and wait in the car for him to come out, because he had told her on countless occasions that these were bad people, that he did not want her around, and he made it known she was not welcome to go inside.
And it's like, she shouldn't even be in this situation.
No,
she's a freaking
baby.
child. She's a,
And she doesn't want any of this.
It's making me so angry.
But he was insistent that he didn't even want them to see her face or know that she existed at all.
Wow.
And it's like, then why are you bringing her here?
Exactly. Like, what are you doing?
Now, Dawn had no idea, but eventually she would become connected to these people in a way that she never would have imagined. Now, one of the times that John was hanging out at Wonderland, Ron mentioned these 2 antique guns that he had stolen from somebody. And he knew that they were worth a good amount of money, but he was trying to sell them at different pawn shops, and the store owners would not take them. Ron was pretty well known in the area, so they probably were convinced that these guns were most likely used to kill a few people.
Yeah.
So much to Ron's surprise, John said that he actually knew a guy who would probably buy them off of the gang or do some kind of trade involving cocaine or heroin.
Yeah.
He said the guy he knew was Eddie Nash, a well-known name in the area.
I know that name.
You do. Eddie Nash pretty much owned and operated all of the nightclubs and nightlife venues in the city. He was born Adel Nasrallah, and although his background story sounds a little made up, so does pretty much his entire life. So just roll with me for a minute.
A lot of this does, so.
The whole thing sounds made up. He said over the years that his family owned hotels in Palestine, but that at one point or another, he ended up in a refugee camp, and he had seen some really awful things. He actually saw his own brother-in-law getting shot by Israeli soldiers.
Oh.
So he had definitely experienced his own trauma.
That's really sad.
Now, one way or another, he decided he was going to get out of there and come over to America. He came here with next to nothing, but he got to work building a full-blown empire. The empire all started out with a hot dog stand that he opened called Beef's Chuck.
What?
I don't know if I would eat there.
No.
Beef's Chuck doesn't really sound super appetizing.
No.
Yeah, it was opened on Hollywood Boulevard. Now, Eddie not only worked there, but in different restaurants in the area. He waited tables. He would cook in restaurant kitchens. He was just trying to make a glow up, and he was going to have it.
Yeah.
Sometime in the 70s, he Americanized his name and changed it from Adele to Eddie Nash. And by the mid-70s, that was a name you were hearing all around town in Hollywood. Because Nash, by this point, had really made it. He opened one club and found success, and then he just kept opening more and more and more until he owned pretty much every club worth going to out there.
Damn.
It's said that at one point in time, he owned 36 liquor licenses for his different clubs.
Oh my God.
And all his real estate and assets together made him worth about $30 million back then, which today would have been hundreds of millions of dollars.
I was going to say, I always love when you're like, do you know what that is today?
Yeah. I couldn't, because 30 million, it said like in the 70s, so I didn't know exactly what year. So I couldn't do like a full-blown conversion, but it would be hundreds of millions.
It's a lot, just know that.
Now, he had a club for...
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower, oh my God, Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70.
Everybody too, which I thought was really cool. He had dance clubs for teenagers. He had gay clubs. There were strip clubs that he had, like the Starwood. The Starwood had a lot more going on than just dancing ladies.
All right.
The LAPD were frequent flyers at the Starwood, not for like the reasons you might think.
You don't say.
I mean, probably for those two, but because they were constantly doing drug busts. In the 70s, the LAPD would do about 25 drug busts a month at the Starwood. That is literally a drug bust almost every single day.
Yeah, that's just routine at that point. You're like, oh, we got to go in.
Yeah, I think they were just taking like holidays and Saturdays off.
Get our like bi-weekly drug bust going.
For real. Now, Eddie worked hard to get where he was, but I've told these stories before, and with that success usually comes some kind of darkness as well. And that was the case for Eddie. Just like John Holmes, Eddie's drug of choice was also freebase cocaine.
Uh-oh.
And if John was doing freebase every 15 minutes, Eddie was doing it every 5.
Oh.
According to the Rolling Stones piece that I mentioned earlier, it's called The Devil and John Holmes, Eddie was doing about 2 to 3 ounces of freebase a day.
Oh.
For 6 years in a row, he spent about $1 million of his earnings on drugs. $1 million per year on drugs.
I don't even know how to comprehend that.
Nor do I.
Yeah, my brain just won't wrap around that fact.
No. Now, it wasn't like he was losing a lot, though, because his clubs were a constant source of income. And not to mention, he was one of the biggest dealers in the area. If you weren't buying drugs at one of his clubs, you were getting to do them at his house. Like they were either at his house or
everywhere.
It was all over the place.
Ugh.
The house was a party house, and he would have parties going every day of the week from sunup to sundown. He apparently would walk around in like tight Speedos and a house coat. I think it was a purple house coat, they said.
You know what's weird? Like with the way you were talking about all this,
You just
I was
pictured that?
picturing people in like Speedos and house coats.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a 70s like
A 70s party vibe
to me. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, you got Eddie Nash on the
Yeah,
head.
there he is.
The house was filled with expensive trinkets, jewelry, thousands or probably millions of dollars worth of drugs and guns were all stashed in little hiding places.
Very safe.
Eddie Nash was a full-blown gangsta, and he was a drug dealer. So it's no wonder how he made the acquaintance of John Holmes.
Oy.
It's not clear exactly how Eddie and John met. There's a lot of different like meet cute stories. But one could assume it was probably through a nightclub or through one of his infamous parties or through John's need to score. Now, the thing about their relationship was that Eddie thought of John like a brother almost immediately. He would introduce him to people and be like, this is my brother.
Oh.
Like, he loved him. For some reason...
I feel like this is going to go bad.
It is.
Yeah.
For some reason, he trusted him, and he would just tow him around parties and show him off like a little show dog. He loved that he had a connection to someone that he considered famous, because he was famous in his own right.
Yeah.
But I don't think like a lot of actually famous people were at these parties.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Johnny Wad there was a little famous.
Johnny Wad was.
A lot of the times at the parties, people would want to know if all the rumors were true about John's downstairs mix-up. Yep. And apparently he was more than happy to just like whip it out.
Yeah.
At parties.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to prove that all the rumors were true.
Wow. This
like
is
Lizzo.
This is a real situation.
Yeah. I had to tell you. So that is exactly how John had connections to two of the most infamous drug dealing entities in Los Angeles, Hollywood, wherever you want to call it, and exactly why he thought of Eddie Nash when Ron needed a place to sell those antique guns for either a large amount of money or a large amount of drugs. That would probably not only be used for the Wonderland and John's personal gain, but also sold for profit.
Yeah.
So, Ron was taking a leap of faith if he thought this whole thing was going to go off without a hitch. But it would be on John if something went wrong as far as he was concerned. So he was like, all right, go ahead. So John brings the guns over to show Nash, and he explains the situation. Now, this is the point in the story where things do get a little blurry. It's a little he said, she said, I think.
Yeah, there's always that point in these stories.
Yeah. I've seen it reported that Nash thought the guns were too rare to sell, and he was reluctant because he thought it would get them all taken down if he tried, but that he wanted to keep the guns for himself anyway. And then I've seen other sources where he did exchange drugs with John for the guns, but that when John went back to the Wonderland Gang and Ron, they were pissed because they thought he should have come back with about $25,000 worth of drugs or money, and instead he came back with only $1,000.
Ooh.
So
that's a big difference.
Big difference right there.
Yeah.
Either way, when John came back and he didn't have the guns anymore, and what the Wonderland felt like was an insulting amount of drugs, he got the shit kicked out of him. Ron literally took a walking stick that John was using at the time and just beat him over the head senseless with it.
Oh my God.
Now, if we've learned anything about the Wonderland Gang so far, it's that you don't want to piss them off.
No.
And John was constantly doing so.
Oh no.
He was in deep shit. And he knew this would not be the only beating that he would have to suffer if he didn't make things right with them, or it potentially could have gotten even worse than that if you smell what I'm stepping in.
Yeah, I certainly do.
Yeah.
And it smells bad.
It smells so scary. So they also were one of his main sources for drugs other than Nash, and he couldn't just freeload off of Nash forever because that was just a dangerous game to play too.
Oh man, this is messy.
He owed Wonderland now, and they were going to get that money one fucking way or another.
No.
So it took John a couple days to come up with a plan, and he was probably in hiding somewhere. But then he realized...
honestly, at this point, he should be.
Yeah, just leave.
Just so many reasons.
Go
just
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Go far. So he realized, though, I can get those guns back, and I can probably get even more and make things right with the gang. So he headed on over to 8763 Wonderland Avenue and hatched a plan to get back in the Wonderland Gang's somewhat good graces. With him, he had a map of Eddie Nash's house and plans to show the Wonderland Gang where a whole bunch of shit was stashed. We are talking copious amounts of drugs, jewelry, guns, etc., etc., etc. He sat down at the kitchen table and he showed them where every last thing was, and then explained how he was going to help them get into the house. He said he would go to Nash's before they did and leave a sliding door open. Nash wouldn't think anything of John being there because he was there all the time and he literally considered him a fucking brother.
Oh.
So he's just fucking Nash over at this point, which is really shitty. He pointed at the map to show Ron and the guys where the door was, and then also made it a point to show them where Nash's room was and where Nash's bodyguard's room was. Because the gang was going to have to incapacitate both men somehow so they could make their way around the home.
Yeah.
Now, John wanted them to know that the bodyguard, Gregory Dials, slept next to a sawed-off shotgun.
My God.
Now, at that point, you would think that they'd be a little nervous, but this is the Wonderland Gang we're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
They were not scared of anything.
They're not scared. I'm scared, but they're not scared.
You should be scared.
I am. Don't worry.
So that night that they lay all these plans out, it's Sunday, June 28th, 1981. Now, after he set the plan in motion with Wonderland, John was to go over to Nash's, hang out for a bit, probably do some drugs, and of course, leave that screen door open.
Hell yeah.
So he stayed with Nash for a good while. They did a ton of drugs together. And then he went back to Wonderland to tell them that the coast was clear. But at that point, it was like the early hours of the morning, and they weren't ready to go yet because they were like sleeping and, whatever. They were in, various states.
Of course.
But a few hours later, they were ready to go. So John headed out before them so that he could make sure that sliding door was still open. So now he's going back. But it's also like, you're being weird now.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going back to,
but
like Eddie might think something of that.
Yeah, I didn't see him being a criminal mastermind in all of this. Yeah.
No, he saw himself that way.
I didn't foresee that.
Nobody else did.
No.
So when he checked, the door was indeed still open. Like I said, he and Nash had done a lot of coke the night before. So by that point, Nash was probably somewhere in the house coming down from it all.
Yeah.
So he made his way out of the house, John did, and drove past the Wonderland Gang on his way out. It was now 8:30 in the morning on June 29th, 1981. Like, people are eating breakfast in their cute little homes.
The work day is starting.
Yeah, people are literally driving to work, and they're also driving to work.
Yeah.
The gang was driving a stolen Ford Granada, which if you fucking look it up, it is the epitome of a 70s, early 80s car. And it just makes sense.
I'm going to look at it.
Now, the driver was one of the gang's members who I didn't really mention, Tracy McCourt. this is really the only role that he plays in the story, is driving them there.
That's exactly what I pictured in my head.
The car, yeah. Now with him were Billy, Ron, and David. The 4 men broke into the house and almost immediately took care of Nash and his bodyguard, Gregory Diles. One of them held a gun in Nash's mouth as the others tied him up, and the bodyguard as well. And at one point or another, one of the guns actually went off and grazed Gregory Diles, the bodyguard. But luckily, it was not a fatal shot. But it was enough for Nash to start crying and begging for his life.
Ooh.
Now, this was not a man who cried in front of people or begged for his life often. So, as some of the men hit all the hiding spots that John Holmes had made them aware of, Nash, who considered John a brother, was sitting there thinking he was going to die.
Yeah.
Now, for whatever reason, the Wonderland didn't kill Eddie Nash or Gregory Diles that morning. They left them alive.
Huh.
But they did get away with about $1 million in drugs, jewelry, and guns.
Wow.
So they make their way out.
That's shocking.
And just leave them there. Now, Nash obviously is happy to be alive, but now he is dead set on finding out who the fuck these men were and obsessed on getting revenge on them.
Yeah.
And he had felt like he had been made a fool of.
Yeah.
So he is going to get his revenge.
Oh, boy.
And that is where we are going to wrap for part 1.
Oh. The revenge is going to be swift, huh?
It's going to be swift. We're going to open up with a truly harrowing scene in part 2. And then we're going to deal with the run-ins with the law after that, people running and hiding and like going their separate ways for a while, and then going to jail and then getting out of jail and then dying. And then it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely wild.
Just looking up the crime scene photos is really all you need to know about this case. So I am scared.
You should be.
For part 2.
Yup, you definitely should be. This is bonkers.
Every player in this is like a terrifying individual.
Every single person in this story would fuck you up.
Yeah.
Except
really
John Holmes, to be
Except
honest.
John Holmes
would not fuck
he's
you
just
up.
Dumb.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Just like in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ew.
So we will see you Monday morning for part 2.
Yeah, we sure will.
And we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it
weird. I don't have to tell you to not keep it so weird that you break into somebody's house and like steal other stuff and then leave them alive. I mean, leave them alive for sure, but like don't steal it in the first place or break into somebody's house because it's a really bad idea.
And buy my book too.
Keep it so weird that you buy Alaina's book. It's called The Butcher and the Wren, and you can buy it at tinyurl/The Butcher and the Wren.
Yeah, tinyurl.com/The Butcher and the Wren.
You said The Bitcher.
The Butcher and the Wren.
Name change.
Join me, Cyndi Lauper, with Chef Michelle Bernstein and Dr. Panico to talk about psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, the potential connection and risk of developing permanent joint damage.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis 300 milligram dose and adults with active psoriatic arthritis 150 milligram dose. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur.
Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com/Cindy.
Everyone's talking about protein lately, but how do you actually get enough of it? Muscle Milk. Muscle Milk has a great tasting new formula with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or added colors. It's high quality, complete protein designed to support healthy muscles with fewer ingredients than the previous formula and 26 to 42 grams of protein. For when you're stuck in meetings or need a post-workout recovery. Available in chocolate, vanilla cream, cookies and cream, and strawberries and cream. Try the new great tasting Muscle Milk today. Available in stores nationwide. Muscle Milk. Protein for all.